time. I definitely wouldn't mind exploring it. I know there's an avenue now for African Americans to be involved with this great sport. I know there's a lot of African American fans of NASCAR, so I think it's great that we're now on that side of it. So it's pretty special.
Okay, we're going to go over to Michelle over here on the left.
Where do you stand on college football playoff expansion? Do you think 4 teams is good, too many, too few? Would you like to see it go to 8 or 12?
Yeah, I think so. I think you gotta, you have to include more teams from the field. I mean, every year it seems like it's the same couple of teams. Of course, Alabama's always in it. Can't fault them for being a great team, but we have more teams that are competitive. Like Cincinnati this year, who was an undefeated team. I just think you need to open up the pool to at least 8 teams. I'm a fan of football, so the more football I can see is great. But I think just in terms of, there's a lot of teams out there that say, hey, we should have the opportunity to be in the playoff. We have a good team. Well, there's only one way to find that out, and that's to kind of expand the field. So I think 8 teams is a good number. If it can get to 12, that'd be good too. But I think it all, you got to think about the pay as well. I know that players now can get, make money as far as their NIL is concerned. But if you're going to add more teams to the playoffs, that's a long season for college players. So you got to figure out that aspect of it as well.
Okay, we're over to the back over here, Don, then we'll go back over this way, but Don Coble right here.
Yeah, Charles, actually, as a person who was at UCF's very first game, I appreciated your response there about expanding the playoffs. But today's crowd, 101.5, I know that's not a big deal compared to what you're used to, but added with the infield and the atmosphere, how does this atmosphere stack up to like an Ohio State weekend?
Yeah, I think it's right there. I mean, when you think about, the amount of people that are in this stadium right now, we're hours away from the start of the race. And, you see all of the campers out there and people are out there, with their grills, they're cooking, they're making a whole day out of it. And that's what you see in the NFL, in tailgates. And so, that energy, it starts to build, with a few, adult beverages and those things flowing around. You'll feel that energy come race time. So this is a familiar feeling for me, being out here and just seeing people gathering, getting ready for the start of that race. So I can't wait for it.
Here, second row. And we'll flip the switch on there. Let's keep that on, if you don't mind.
Yep, it's Alan from the Alan and Aaron Sports Radio Show. I got a chance to watch the 30 for 30. Can you talk about your experience of doing that with Tom Brady, and were you happy with the production and the result?
Yeah, I thought the production came out. I thought it was stellar. I really do. Heard from a lot of people who watched it, who really enjoyed it. The fact that me and Tom go way back, came in as freshmen together at the University of Michigan and actually have a relationship, made it all the better, for that content. And I just thought, over the years, I've heard so many people say, hey, have you and Tom ever sat down and talked about the tug rule? And I'm like, no, there's really no reason to. It's not like he made the call. The referees made the call, and the rest is history. So this was a good deal for us to kind of have that conversation and actually sit down and watch the play for all the fans to see and get his thoughts on it and my thoughts on it. So it was a lot of fun. I know I made my case. I know I won the case. So I'm happy to say, that I won my first the court trial. So
We go over to the far left, Al, very front there.
Yeah, Al Pierce with Auto Week. What are your feelings on the current football coaching situation in Ann Arbor? You happy with what's going on, or?
Yeah, we got our coach back. He flirted about Jim and his staff, had our team in a really good place. So I'm happy where it's at, and hopefully we can be in the same position again next year.
Okay, far left again. About middle ways of the room, there we go.
Charles, Mike Bianchi, Orlando Sentinel. You've been to NFL games, obviously, as an analyst. You've been in golf tournaments. Don just mentioned this is gonna be a hard sellout today. Can you sense that sports fans are ready to come out of their, sort of their COVID cocoon and get back out?
I don't think there's any question about it. I mean, if you watched the Super Bowl last week and you see, the amount of people that were out and, celebrating the end of the season, celebrating a great game between, your two, your NFC and AFC champions. People have, I think, been, ready for a long time now. And you can just see it. I mean, just talking earlier about the energy and the people out there in the stadium, you just feel it building up. You see that some of the mask mandates are being relieved now, and people are overjoyed, really. So I just think they're ready for this type of event, to continue throughout the rest of the year. Let's, get back to doing, what we do here, and that's celebrating our sports and having fun outdoors, and, just having a good time.
Next question, Charles, at the very back of the room.
This is Melissa Thomas with Florida National News. So obviously you got your special crew there, so I wanted to ask you, how important is it to expose, the younger generation to racing and kind of get them inspired? What does that mean for you?
Yeah, I think it's a big deal. I know that as a kid, I was never a part of any event like this. Of course, I went to a few games here or there, but to get involved with something that is not readily exposed to you, I think is important. I know that me and my son have been to this track before, once before. So it's good for them to just continue to come back, especially like we just talked about, kind of post-COVID, and really seeing this stadium for what it really is with all of the people, the sold-out crowd, seeing the infield with everyone, celebrating and enjoying life and getting ready for a big race. For these guys to see that and to really be a part of it, be down inside of the stadium and get next to the cars and take pictures, like, that's gonna be great for them. This will be memories that they'll take with them for a lifetime. So I'm happy to be in a position to help them experience this. So hopefully they'll have a good time. You guys ready for a good time? Yeah? Are you guys asleep?
All right, I can tell you this will wake them up. Bruce Martin's next.
Bruce Martin with Speed Sport. We asked you about Michigan already, but what about, one of your teams in the NFL, the Raiders, had a rather tumultuous season. Do you think they should have stuck with the interim coach they had, or how do you kind of view them getting McDaniel from the Patriots?
Yeah, I think, you gotta give Rich, give him his due. He did a great job. You just said it, man. The season last year, any and everything that could have happened to the Raiders happened. So tough season. So give him and the team credit for just fighting through the whole thing. But I think with Mark Davis, I think his thought process was, you know what, I gotta make a big move. I gotta make sure that this thing is gonna go in the right direction for the future. And I think he's put together a pretty good staff. I think bringing in McDaniels, bringing in an offensive-minded coach, somebody that can really help Derek Carr offensively. We've seen what he's done for years in New England and the way that offense runs, so I'm happy about that. Then I just think overall, administratively, some guys that he brought in, GM, they have continuity with him and the coach. So I think we're in a good place right now to move it forward, and happy about the decision that he's made.
Two more quick questions over here to the left.
Noah Lewis, TSJ Sports. So many fans like the high energy commands to fire engines. Have you given it any practice or done anything? And is your crew going to be able to be out there doing it with you?
Yeah, well, it'll be me out there. From what I understand, it'll be pretty hot and loud out there, so it might not be suitable for them. But I got my cue from a few people earlier that said that I need to be loud, I need to be animated. So I'll make sure you can hear me.
All right. One last question right down here on the center to the right.
Hey Charles, Matt Baker with the Tampa Bay Times. Do you really think Tom Brady's done?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I don't think Tom is one of those people that just does things on a whim. I think he gave it some thought. I think in every athlete's life, you come to a point where it's over, even though sometimes guys come back after a hiatus. But I think that he's at that point where, he played so long, and it seems like over the last 10 years, people have been trying to push him out of the league. Oh, he's falling off the cliff, he's done playing. And this past year, he just proved that really there's no limit to how long he can play. But now you hear guys saying, don't leave. So I think he's in a good place in terms of, you know what? Everybody knows if I wanted to, I could play till 45, but I'm not. So take that.
Charles, thank you so much for being here. Hope these kids have a great time, and we're so glad you're being a part of the Daytona 500.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me. Me? Hell no. I don't know. Do you know how good that was?
He's the best player in the world.
Yeah.
It's gonna be hard to top the swagger that was just on the stage for sure. But we have now been joined by Eric Omarola and the CEO of Smithfield, Shane Smith. Eric was the 2014 winner here at Daytona International Speedway in the Coke Zero Sugar 400. And is a Tampa native, as many of you are aware, and also making his final Daytona 500 start today. So Eric, thank you for joining us. And
Yeah, it's hard to see you over there, Amanda.
I'm not quite as tall as the trophy here, but tell us a little bit about this morning, what's been going through your mind, and how you're going to approach the Daytona 500 this afternoon.
Yeah, I talked about it with you guys in here earlier in the week, and for me, it's really been just about not being on autopilot. You know, I've been doing this so long that it's so easy to wake up race day morning and just, you know, live that minute-to-minute schedule and be on autopilot and do exactly what I'm told and go here, do this, you know, meet these people. But today is, you know, just I've been reminding myself to slow down, take it all in, look around, and enjoy it. And it has a good feel. Obviously, the weather's great. We haven't had that in a few years down here at Daytona. You know, being out of the pandemic, so to speak, now, and having a full house here, the energy just feels right. It feels like the Daytona 500, and so you know, to have one to go out on, this one's pretty special. Just the energy and the excitement building around the race. So I feel good about it. I feel good about our car. Our car had a lot of speed the last 2 days in practice. It's driving really good. So, you know, last year we won the duel and started up front, started third, and on lap 20 I was wrecked and headed to the house. So this year we're going for the opposite approach. We finished far back in the duels and we're going to start in the back. So we got one way to go and we're going to go forward.
All right, and Shane, for you, we know Eric's been an important part of the Smithfield brand now for many seasons, but what has he meant to your brand and just, you know, the opportunity to celebrate the Daytona 500 today with Eric as well?
You know, well, first I would just say we're so thankful and blessed to have had this relationship with Eric and Stuart Haas, and this last 10 years has been it's been incredible. Eric's a great brand ambassador for us, and we're just looking forward to see him as he takes this next step in his career after we get through and finish up this year. So we're excited for him. We're excited about the season.
All right, we're gonna take a couple of questions here for Eric or Shane. If you have one, raise your hand. We're gonna try to get to as many as we can. And we will start, go ahead, Zach.
Zach starting a little front. Eric, as you approach this race, it looks like the Fords have had a ton of speed in practice and the duels. Is that product just being more organized so far throughout those sessions, or do you feel like you guys have a legitimate chance to contend for win this afternoon?
No, I think we have a legitimate chance to win the Daytona 500. The Fords are fast, and it seems like our cars are really good in the draft. You know, we were all a little bit worried when we got down here on single car speed. The Chevrolets were really fast in qualifying. Obviously, when you come down here, you know you're always going to race against the Hendrick cars for the pole. We thought we might have a shot at the pole. We kind of pushed all of our chips in on that, hoping to get the front row. That didn't work out for us. You know, we had high hopes to get the front row so we wouldn't have to race in the duels. Just, you know, with the risk factor of losing a car in the duels, we couldn't really take that chance. So, you know, we pushed all of our chips in on that. But ever since we've gotten our car transitioned over to race trim, the last 2 days have been really encouraging. Our cars are really fast, lined up, and we're really confident. The whole Blue Oval group is really confident going into the race today, so we're pretty excited. Our cars drive good too. I think with the sun out and it being up in the 70s, you know, it will turn into a handling race at some point, especially with a lot of people planning on fuel only or 2 tires during the stages. So I feel good about that too, the fact that our car is handling well.
All right, we're gonna go to Matt. Go ahead, Matt.
Matt Weaver, Racing America, kind of to that point about the potential strategy element today with it being a warmer race. There's more cars, so there's more energy throughout the build too. We've seen a lot of cars lose the draft more easily. How important is it going to be to stay with that lead group? And do you think it's going to be a more spread out kind of a track position strategy race?
Yeah, I think it certainly has the potential to. It's always hard to tell, especially it's a new car, right? We've never had, at any point with this new car, we've not had 40 cars on the track at one time. And so the duels obviously split up with 20 cars or so in each. When they were down here testing, you know, there's 16 cars or so. So we don't have any data, and we don't really know what it's going to be like with 40 cars on the racetrack. But with what we've seen in practice and what we've seen in the duels, you would assume that at some point, especially once green flag stops start to happen, that the field will separate and the guys that pit together will stay together, and it will be a little bit more of a broken up pack. And I feel like that's where we have the advantage with the Fords. We have the numbers, you know, the strength of numbers, and I think eventually, though, we always seem to find our way back to a pack. It gets strung out, and then whoever's behind keeps getting a toe off of that lead pack, and they eventually draft back up to it. So it's just going to be about managing the race and executing. All the little things are going to be really important today because there is so many unknowns. The things that you do know, you got to do them and do them well. You got to get on and off pit road well, not have any pit road penalties, you know, stop in the box right, figure out, you know, it's a different way of getting in and out of the box now with not having a standard H pattern shifter, and the way we use the clutch and get in the pit box and leave the pit box. There's so many things that are different that for a guy like me that's been doing it for years, and you know, just have that muscle memory sort of built in, you got to just really focus and make sure that you do all those things correctly. Yep.
All right, we're gonna go to Daniel and then Jordan. Go ahead, Daniel.
Dale McFadden, Project.com. I have 2 questions for you, Shane. Can you share, what was it about Eric that made him right to represent the Smithfield brand within NASCAR and on the national scale, like you guys are so many years?
Yeah, I think anybody who's been around Eric for more than 5 minutes knows the answer to that question already. I mean, he's just such a fantastic guy, family man, and he fits all of the attributes that we look for in Smithfield. And again, it's been a great decade, a great ambassador for us, and I'm just so happy for him and looking forward to see what he does today.
And to follow up on that question really quick, I will just say, I've been asked a lot leading into this year, like, when you look back at your career, like, what do you think is your greatest accomplishment? And I told Shane at dinner last night, and I've told my wife many times, for me, I can honestly say, like, the race wins and all those things have been great. And sure, I wish I had more, right, where I'm a competitive person. But the one thing that I am the most proud of about my entire career is the relationships that I've built with the partners. It's really been a partnership. And, to speak of that, we got Larry Pope over here. He's the CEO when we started the program with Smithfield. And him and his wife, Mary, came to watch my last Daytona 500. And that's, for me, that means more than any race win that I've ever had. Just the fact that it's real and that it's genuine and that it's a partnership. It's not just them putting stickers on a race car and me go right around in circles.
My second question is, after this is final year, do you intend to stay in the sport beyond 2022?
We'll evaluate that throughout the course of the year. Right now, we're just focused on sending him out with the bank. But we'll continue to talk about that throughout the rest of this year.
All right, if I can get a microphone to Jordan, please. We'll come back.
Jordan Yaki, Athletic. This question's for Shane too. There's been a lot of buzz, it seems like, about NASCAR, especially the last few weeks, the clash in the Coliseum, Daytona being sold out today. Have you seen it from a sponsor side of what's going on in the sport? I mean, it's not just, anecdotally, but, actual ROI, that kind of thing?
We are, and the last 2 years, it's a little bit hard to look at the numbers just purely on the face, but I'll tell you, as we pull it in here today, you look and there's 1,000 people here and another 30 or 40, and I mean, it's just incredible. So people are dying to get back out, and they're excited about coming back to the things they love. And so I don't think you can just look at the numbers over the past 2 years strictly without recognizing that. But again, you look at this crowd today, and as you walk around the track, you feel the excitement. So when we look at things like ROI, investments like this, I think we'll continue to build some.
Yeah, Mike Bianchi, Orlando Sentinel. Eric, what is the next phase of your career? Have you thought about going back to UCF and finishing your degree? and also, can you feel the energy? Does this feel like a rebirth for NASCAR?
Yeah, so to answer your first question, I told my mom when I left school, right? So I was 19 years old. I was in my sophomore year going to UCF to get my mechanical engineering degree. And the reason I was going to get an engineering degree was so that I could move to North Carolina and work on race cars, because I had no idea that I would, be blessed to have the opportunity to be a race car driver as a professional. I hope so, and I was doing it as a hobby. But if it didn't work out, I loved racing so much I wanted to work on race cars. And so when I left, I actually left before my final exams. My mom was not happy. And I moved to North Carolina, and I told my mom, I was like, this is a chance in a lifetime. Like, I'll never have this opportunity. School will always be there. So if it doesn't work out, I'll always be able to go back to school. So it has worked out. I've been blessed beyond my wildest imagination, but you're right. I am going to be done. So I don't know. I'll have to have a sit down with my mom and see if I have to go back to school. I did promise her I would, so.
All right, we're going to continue with questions. I know there's several with questions. We're going to get to as many as we can, but it helps if you keep your hand raised a little bit up so that we can get the microphones to you. We're going to go up front to Mark. Right up here, please.
Mark Lund with AP. Eric, the other day you said you might get a hall pass and come back and race the Daytona 500 again, and she's over there, right?
She's over there.
Yeah. And then today you made it sound like this is your last one.
Yeah.
Can you want to set the record straight? And
well, I just think I've learned from watching my good friend David Reagan and watching other guys, right? Like there's always opportunities that might present themselves down the road, and if it's the right fit and it works out, then I would consider it. My biggest thing, and I've talked a lot about it, the reason that I'm stepping away is that 40-week grind. Man, that is so hard. It's hard on a family. It's really hard on a young family. My kids are into so many different activities, and I want to be available and present for them. But if there's opportunity to do one-off stuff here and there, I'm pretty sure she'd let me. So she gave me a thumbs up.
Thumbs
So
up,
yeah.
okay. And so with that said, though, is today more emotional with having the family and everybody, knowing that this could be the last one?
Absolutely, yeah, and I think, for me, it's really, these moments, like talking about it, like earlier going through the motions of doing all the meet and greets and all those things, it feels very normal, right? It doesn't, all of that feels very normal. Doing these things, talking about it, right? Answering questions about it, make it more of a reality. And then going out to pit road and kind of taking all of that in, I'm sure will be top of mind, but the beautiful thing about a race car driver is that when we climb in that window and strap in and pull our seatbelts tight, there is nothing else in the world that matters. I mean, I've had so many things going on in my life, deaths in the family, people getting married, all sorts of different things, highs and lows, and, Janice being on, being 9 months pregnant and our kid coming any day and being at the racetrack, and you're always thinking about those things, but for me at least, when I strap in and I pull those belts tight, nothing else matters. I'm just so focused on, the task at hand and trying to go win the race. So I'm sure that'll be the same today. I'm sure I'll take it all in, and then when I climb in the window, it'll be business as usual.
All right, we're gonna go to Doug.
Doug Turnbull for WSB Radio PRN. And Eric, another question since you won't be doing this every Sunday, is this going to be something that you'll actually be allowed to have time to sit down on the couch and watch? And if you watch it, are you going to watch it like a regular fan, or are you going to watch it like someone who's been on the inside, kind of like us, when we listen with scanners and that kind of thing?
Yeah, well, I mean, I do have a love of the sport, right? I've been doing it since I was 8 years old. I grew up watching my grandfather run sprint cars, so this is all I know. I don't know anything else. So, sure, I think Sundays without racing are going to be awkward to not be at the racetrack, but I will definitely be, involved and paying attention. But it'll be nice to wake up Sunday morning, have a cup of coffee, and go to church with my family, and maybe grab lunch afterwards and not be in a rush or a hurry. For the last, I feel like 20 years of my life has been a blur. It's been rushed and everything's in a hurry, and I joke with my wife all the time, but we live on a literal minute-to-minute schedule. It seems like daily. So that part is going to be nice to have the ability to pick and choose.
All right, we're gonna go to Bruce, and where's the other microphone right now? Sorry, I've lost it. There you are. Okay, can you go to the next row, please? Thank you. Bruce, go ahead with your question.
Bruce Murray with Speed Sport. A lot of us remember when you started. Now that it's coming to an end, does it feel like the career is just kind of gone in a flash?
No, it really doesn't. That for me, it feels like it's been happening forever. It really does. Like, man, it seems like so long ago that I was racing, as a 19, 20-year-old kid, trying to cut my teeth and make a name for myself. And then to, finally go through all the ups and downs that I've been through, that is one thing about my career, and my wife and I, can attest to it, is that there's been many times that we've sat on the couch looking at each other going like, oh no, like what's next? And fortunately, and by the grace of God, we've continued to get opportunities, and I've had some success along the way and made the most of those opportunities that have gotten me to where I've been established. And a large part of that, there's no doubt about it, is the relationship that I've had with Smithfield. And it started with Larry and the entire team back then, believing in me, believing in the sport, and then we've carried that torch throughout. And then to have Shane, the first conversation I had with Shane when he took over as CEO of Smithfield, and he's like, I'm a NASCAR fan, buddy. He's like, I'm going to tell on him. He's probably going to get embarrassed. He's like, but I have a Dale Earnhardt koozie. He's like, I watched. I enjoy the sport. And so for me, that's really what it's been about is that relationship, and that's helped me get established in the sport, because it's no secret, right? This sport is an expensive sport, and you have to have the corporate sponsors. All these race cars that are out there on the racetrack, they have corporate sponsors to help them fund their effort, and the fans know that. The fans buy into it, but the drivers have to have that. I can't race with no stickers on the race car. It's not feasible for the race team. So I'm super grateful for that.
All right. Go ahead with your question.
Hey Eric, right here. I'm Melissa Thomas with Florida National News. So I wanted to find out, obviously, on your way out, have you found another skill set or another, I don't want to say hobby, but something else to focus your attention on, since NASCAR is all you've known for the last several decades?
I'm honing my skills at packing lunch. I'm getting better at helping my wife pack lunch. I worked on that this off season. So yeah, just being more intentional with the kids, and doing those things, right? Like I don't know what that looks like. I mean, and I talked about this in my retirement video, but I'm 37 years old, and my whole life has revolved around me. Like when I was a kid, my parents and my grandparents devoted their lives to me and me chasing my dreams and my hobbies. I'm 37 years old, and everybody still makes sacrifices around me so that I can chase my dreams. And so that's going to be a huge shift for me. I have no idea what that's going to look like. I'm sure there'll be days that I'm pouting, that life's not about me anymore. But seriously, like I think, you know, that's going to be the biggest adjustment, is trying to figure out, like, yeah, it's my schedule's not the most important schedule anymore.
All right, Jerry, go ahead.
Jerry Jordan, kicking tires on that. Aside from the media, what will you miss the most as you,
The thing I'll absolutely miss the most is strapping in the race car. You know, that the relationships will last way beyond my career. But the sensation that I get as a race car driver when I strap in the race car and I'm sitting on pit road and they give us the command to start our engines and we roll off pit road, there's no sensation like that I've ever experienced outside of racing. Like, you feel, I don't know what it feels like to be a gladiator, because I've never been one, but you feel like a gladiator. You feel like you're getting ready to go do battle, right? I'm getting ready to go do battle against the 39 best stock car racers in America. And, you know, there's no feeling that I think will replace that. And so I'll miss that the most. I'll miss you guys a little.
All right, we're going to take another question, then I'm going to end with Abby. Go ahead.
Peter Stroud at TSJ Sports. Eric, aside from today being the 500 in your home race, is there another race that will mean more to you this final season?
Probably Phoenix. Just, you know, that marking the end of full-time racing, right? So that one will be super impactful. I think the rest of the year, and honestly, where we put a lot of thought into this when we made the announcement, right, that I was going to retire before the season started, you know, was to, hey, have this press conference, answer all the questions, get it out of the way. When the checker flag flies today for the Daytona 500, all the attention and everything needs to be on the racing season. It's not going to be about me. I don't want it to be about me. The rest of the season is going to be business as usual. But then when we go to Phoenix, you know, that's going to be where it kind of hits me. Yeah, that one's kind of circled on the calendar.
All right, we're going to end with one additional question from Abby. Go ahead, Abby.
Are you excited to spend more time with your family at home?
You know it, sweetie. Yeah, I can't wait.
All right, that's a great place to end. Eric, we wish you the best of luck today in the Daytona 500.
He
I'm not picking it up. You pick it up.
I'm not picking it up.
Well, somebody's got to pick it up.
I'll pick it up. They're clean. 'Cause my hiney's clean. Oh yeah, I'm Charmin clean. That's how I know they're clean.
Charmin Ultra Strong is woven like a washcloth and just cleans better.
Yeah, I'm Charmin clean.
The kid does have a point.
My hiney's clean.
Enjoy the go with Charmin. And for an extra clean finish, try Charmin Flushable Wipes. At Duke Energy, we deliver electricity and so much more, like free home energy assessments, rebates for energy-saving improvements, payment options to help you better manage your budget, and even bill credits for helping the community use less energy. So no matter what you're doing, we can help you make better energy choices every day. It's just another way we bring power to your life. How much can you save?